I lived the perfect life. I had a wonderful husband, a beautiful home, a loving family, elegant clothes. I had an exciting job with international travel and a pretty smart car. I could go wherever I wanted to, whenever I wanted to, until that day. Looking back, my life was like a line of dominoes, each one carefully and precisely placed. But isn't it curious how on the turn of a sixpence, something so perfect could be turned completely upside down and irrevocably changed, as it did on that day. Do you know, I never gave a thought to my line of dominoes that if one of them was just dislodged, the whole lot could come tumbling down, as it did on that day. I remember what I was doing. I remember the day, where I was. I remember the precise time when the postman arrived at the door. It was 9:30, and the letter plopped on the doormat. At the time, I was in the garden. It was a beautiful spring day. The air was heavy with the perfume from the spring flowers, the hyacinths, the daffodils, and the cherry blossom. And all the blossom was buzzing with the frenetic bees who were gathering nectar, and somehow I think they knew that time was short and things were about to change. I walked into the house and saw the envelope on the doormat. An innocent-looking white envelope. I bent down and picked it up, never knowing or giving a single thought to what it contained, and that it was the first domino. I went into the kitchen, sat down at the table, and picked up my cup of freshly ground coffee. You know that first cup of coffee in the morning? Isn't it always the best? And I luxuriated in the smell of that coffee. Lazily, I tore open the envelope and took out the letter and read it. No! It cannot be true! I read it again. How is this possible? How could this happen to me? I've been so careful with my life. I felt a sense of panic rising within me. I couldn't breathe. The walls of the kitchen were closing around me. I had to get out of the house. I grabbed my purse and my coat and tore open the front door and spilled onto the pavement. The sun glared in my eyes like a bright light piercing my soul. The noise of the traffic assailed my ears as the cars thundered by and the aeroplanes roared overhead. The Saturday shoppers were jostling with one another on the pavement. They swept me along. I wanted to tell them, do you not know what's just happened to me? That I've just received this letter? But do you think they would have cared? They were busy building their own row of dominoes. I don't know how long I walked for. It was hours. Eventually, I started to feel calmer. Do you find that? If you're troubled and you go for a walk, you start to calm down. I began to formulate a plan, trying to think through the scenarios of what I might do. It was getting dark. The sun, the blood-red sun, hung low in the sky. I eventually arrived at the crossroads. I knew where I was now. I'd walked this route 100 times before, and you know, I always turned right at the crossroads. But today, after all that's happened, why should I? I turned left. I knew I should have done. It was with a sense of dread that I approached the corner, as if I knew what I would find there. And there she was, lying at the side of the road. Her head was twisted at an unnatural angle, and her arms and legs were bent awkwardly. I knew who she was, but I didn't want to admit it. I bent down, swept the hair away from her face, and I recognised her. And then, blue lights, a siren, and a disembodied voice calling to me. "You'll be all right, hang on." I tried to turn around to see who was speaking, but my head was at an unnatural angle, and my arms and legs were twisted awkwardly as I tried to get up. And pain shot through me from head to toe, and I remembered the letter, the walk, the crossroads, and the car out of control coming around the corner. And the last of the dominoes fell down.